Hi, my name is Nate and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Magical Readathon. So for August, I have decided to join the Magical Readathon, where we are going for a second semester at Aurelium. Now I haven't done my first semester, but that's okay. That's okay. So this is my character. His name is Rowan. He is a Earthling. He's also a wildling, so he was off living his best life, which is why he missed the first semester, but he decided he wants to take his love of the elements a bit more seriously. So I got sorted. I did like the quick kind of sorting, and he got sorted into the Order of the Crescent, and as the Order of the Crescent's kind of like speciality calling was Master of the Elements, I thought that worked really nicely for him, so his calling is Master of the Elements. I did not look up the prompts before that because I would probably have not have picked it because it's like 8 books, so I have to read 8 books this month for him to pass all his classes, and yeah, that's a lot of books. I'm not going to be backpedaling and trying to do April's prompt picks for Master of the Elements in this month, but before next April I have every intention of going back and doing those prompts. But we're going to start with this semester, and then yeah, probably try by the end of this year, I'd like to do the other prompts. So for the Master of the Elements calling, there were 6 prompts in April that I would have needed to do, so throughout September to December I'm going to try and do those so that we are just up to date for next April and he's all caught up, and you know, he's not falling behind in his studies. We don't want that. So anyway, for Master of the Elements, let's go through the Autumn Equinox and what he has to do. I have my iPad with all the information on it here. So we have to get a D in Elemental Studies, an O in Shapeshifting, an O in Animal Studies, an O in Astronomy, and a Q in Restoration. So that's 8 books. I managed to get 5 of them from my TBR game, but 3 of them I did not, and so I've had to just add in. So let's start with the like smaller ones first. So for Shapeshifting, for O, we have its Formation Fangs. Read a book with vampires. So for this prompt, I have Mr. Darcy Vampire. This is by Amanda Grange, and it is one that I got from my TBR for like my lowest rated, with like a historical setting. I know nothing about this. It says like Pride and Prejudice continues, and from the title I'm guessing Mr. Darcy's a vampire, so I'm assuming it has vampires in it. Yeah, so this should fit the prompt, and it is from my TBR game as well, which is lovely. So that's the first book that we'll be reading for Aurelium. The next prompt we have, let's do Animal Studies, which is Introduction to Domestic Creatures, Pet Pick. So I have pets but not with me, so I used G's pet pick that she put on her Instagram. This one was really easy to get my TBR on because I just picked 4 books that are on my TBR. I will hopefully be reading them all anyway, so I went with her pet Momo for the pick and ended up with The Ninth of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This is a chunky one. It's like just under 500 pages, which is annoying because I have a prompt for a book over 500 pages and this did not fit. But yeah, so this is the start of a trilogy. I believe it's an apocalyptic trilogy. It had a movie. This is like Chaos Walking book 1. I don't know much else about it, and I'm not really going to read much else about it because I like to go into these pretty blind so that I'm like experiencing everything for the first time. But that's the second book on the TBR for the Readathon. The next prompt for Astronomy is Moon Song Ritual. The prompt of word in the title from the name of the last song you listened to. Now, when I was creating this TBR, I went onto Spotify and the last song I had listened to was Hard by Shiny, and that worked out really nicely because I have this book, which is Falling Hard for the Royal Guard. I specifically picked this book for my TBR because I basically kind of like, before I played my TBR game, I had a look through and like I decided on some of the books that were options for this readathon that could like work for both, and so this was this one. This is a romance, I'm assuming adult. I don't know if it's going to be like spicy, I don't know. It is by Megan Clawson. I know very little about it, and I'm excited though to read it. It's a relatively new release, I think a 2023 release. It's a 2023 release, so yeah, I'm excited to read some more romance. I haven't read a ton of romance, but I'm always excited for it. So for Restoration, we have O, which is to induce sleep, so to start a book before bed. For this one, I just picked any book from my TBR that didn't make it onto this, and so I've gone for Beautiful Dead, Book 1, Jones. This is by Eden Maguire, and this was one that I got randomly picked from like a jar pick for my game, so I didn't actually have a choice of picking it. It's I assume YA. I don't know if it has angels in it, but it's about, yeah, people dying and our main girl seeing the dead or hearing the dead or something, so that's the next book. Then for Q in Restoration, Relocating Pain. Read a book in a different spot each time you pick it up. Now, I'm pretty much a creature of habit in where I read. It's either my bed or my couch, so I kind of wanted to pick a short book that I could try to maybe read into, if free. I could always sit on another chair, sittings. So I again just picked a random book from my TBR, and that was Mary Jane. This is a novel by Judith O'Brien. It is about Mary Jane from the Spider-Man series, and it's like 200 pages. So I could easily knock this out in 2 places at 2 different times if I wanted to. So I just need to make sure that I remember to do that, and I don't forget that this book is for that prompt, and I don't want to like finish it and realise I've read it in the exact same place. But I think I should be fine with it because it is in my head. But yeah, I just don't want to forget. So that's the next book for our TBR. And then lastly, this is where my TBR game kind of fell apart and I didn't manage to get books for these prompts. So for the first prompt is Element of Earth, a book with the Earth in the title. So I scoured my Goodreads for my TBR because obviously I really want to concentrate on reading my TBR for most of like my games and stuff that I do. And I had one book that had the word Earth in the title. And it is this one, Richard Dawkins's The Greatest Show on Earth, The Evidence for Evolution. This is a chunky non-fiction book. It is about evolution, it's about science. I don't 100% know if I'm going to get it. So I'm going to give myself a bit of a out, I guess. So this book is the book that I intend to start. It's the book I intend to read. I'm going to try my hardest to read like a little bit a day because it will be something that I will take a while to get through. But there is also this manga. I think I could just buy the first volume on Kindle and read it, and so that will count. So if I get to the end of the month and I have not finished this book, I'm going to buy this manga on Kindle and just read it, the first volume. So that's my out for if I don't get through this. I'd love to get through this because it is on my TBR and I am really interested in it. I think evolution is really fascinating, but yeah, I'm not very smart. So like big words confuse me, you know, it's like quite text heavy, it's about science and yeah. So this is one of those books, but like I said, we have my out. So then for the second for Q, for elemental studies, which is Boulder Stance, which is a book over 500 pages. None of the books I had for my TBR were over 500 pages. I think we had a couple of like high 400s, but nothing 500. So again, I'm kind of giving myself a bit of a kind time because I would love to read A Storm of Swords Part 1, Steel and Snow. This book is, once you take out all of the appendices, it is 569 pages. However, these books take me ages to read. They are just because every page just looks like this, just thick, full of writing, full of words. So this is potentially the intention. However, again, like with the last one, if I've kind of got to the end of the month and I'm not quite that far on it, or I don't think I'm going to be able to finish it, this is my backup. This is Chobits, this is a manga, and it's like 700 pages. I didn't actually realise it was that long because I had a prompt last month for a book over 700 pages and I picked a Game of Thrones book when I could have picked this. But anyway, it is, yeah, 736 pages, so it's big, but it is a manga, so it won't take me as long to read. It's the first 4 volumes in an 8-volume series. I have the other volume as well. It is about cyborg humans, or like robots that develop feelings. I don't actually 100% know. It's by Clamp, which are very famous for doing Cardcaptor Sakura. But yeah, I've never read it. I've owned it for ages, so I do want to read this. So if this is looking like it's not going to get complete, this is going to be my backup. So I am giving myself that kind of like a little bit of wiggle room for this particular prompt. Yeah, because I got a lot of books to read this month from my game and then with the addition of this TBR. And then the last of all, for elemental studies, we have Lava Snakes, with a book with a snake on the cover. I probably could have found a manga for this, but I also do have this book, which is Her Dark Wings. As you can see, there is a snake. Well, there's 2 snakes? Yeah, there's 2 snakes on the cover. It's also just a very gorgeous, like, foiled book. This is a last year release. I think I bought this early. What was it, early? Let me just find out. It's 2002 release. This is by Melinda Salisbury, and I'm not 100% sure what it's about. It does say, like, on an island near the entrance to the underworld lives a modern-day Persephone. It's about a friendship. I think there's a betrayal. I don't know if, like, the whole Persephone, but the underworld calls to Corey, too. So I don't know. I don't really know what this is going to be about. Again, like I don't want to read too much about it because I'd like to just go in a bit blind. I don't know if it's the start of a series or if it's a standalone. It is not overly big. It's like 340 pages, so it should be fine. But it's not on my other TBR for August. So it's just an added in one. So these are the books that I need to read to complete my classes. Like I said, it'll be one or the other of these and potentially a different one for this one. but this is the basics. So if we need to do this just to get through my classes, just to make sure I graduate, you know, Rowan can't be falling behind. He's already skipped the first semester, so he can't be falling behind in the second semester. However, also, potentially, he might decide, if he has enough time, him, definitely not me, if it's him that has to have enough time, not me, to do some further activities for the semester. So one would be the summoning of an impling. Now, I am slightly bending the rule, and I kind of want to see if people agreed this was okay, in that I have a book that technically fits all of the prompts except one, but I could stretch that one. And that book is Skander and the Phantom Rider. And so this fits, so let me read them out for you. This has one letter appear twice, which is the T, is the, in the, and Phantom. Released this last year, this was released this year. Blue on the cover, obviously it's a completely basically blue book, even the pages are blue for my cover. I could start it at night, which is obviously an easy one to do. Read from the author before. This is the second book in a series, so I have read from the author. So the prompt that captures it is the between 400 and 450 pages. Now this book, for the pages listed at the back, is 397 pages. However, it does have a prologue, which is only 2 pages. It doesn't have the same kind of page numbers. It has like Roman numerals. So then like chapter 1 starts on page 1. So that technically takes it up to 399 pages. And then there is also 3 pages of acknowledgements. Now, I do tend to read acknowledgements because I just find them interesting. So, if I include the acknowledgements and the prologue, it takes us to 402 pages. So I'm going to use this book for summoning my impling. I think it counts. I think that's fine. I just, you know, it's just over. I will read the acknowledgements. They're not included in the page count, but obviously you can, and then the prologue isn't. So I do think I'm going to let this one exist and read this book. However, if people don't think it's fair or that it shouldn't fit, I do have City of Glass as a second option for both of the books to complete the summoning. This book has one letter appears twice, which is the double S. It is over 400 pages. This book is like 490, and I have read from this author before. So with those 2, I would complete the circle, but I think I can get away with this one just completing the circle. Let me know what you guys think. This also is a potential. I actually don't 100% know if I will even do that, because I don't know if I'll have the chance to summon the impling with all of the other books that I have to read, because then I was also thinking about doing a like task, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to leave it at these, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, these are all the books that I am intending to read for the Magical Readathon starting in August. I am going down the Master of the Elements route, and yeah, like I said, I'm going to try and catch up in the first semester before next April, which I'm guessing is another readathon going to happen, and I will just see how it goes. So thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know if you are participating in Magical Readathon. I'd love to know what your calling you've gone for, what you've decided to read for that. Yeah, and I am really excited to actually participate in this readathon. I did know about it in April, but I was kind of coming towards the end of my year at uni, and so was not prepared, and like I didn't have the time to think about it. Whereas this month, I've kind of thought about it, I've gone for it, and I've decided we're just going to go for it. We're going to go for it, we're going to push for it, and yeah, a bunch of these are on my TBR anyway, so we shall see. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you again hopefully soon. Bye.